Hey, Dr. Chase Cunningham here, Dr. ZeroTrust. I'm a little bit late this week because I've been traveling doing ZT work with a whole bunch of orgs, and I'm going to give you the top 10-ish things you need to know in cybersecurity this week. So, number one, the DoD is reviewing the implementation plans for ZeroTrust. Away we go, folks. This is a big deal. The fact that the government has allowed all this to take place and the money's been allocated, interesting. So, the U.S. DoD will begin reviewing a total of 47 ZT implementation plans for military services and defense agencies. Pretty big deal. Congress mandated in the National Defense Authorization Act that 1 year after the publication of the Department's Zero Trust strategy, which was a while ago, that all defense components need to deliver implementation plans illustrating how they will reach each target under the strategy. So this is big. You see a lot of moving parts. I always remind people that the DoD can do Zero Trust, and they're taking their time. They're being smart. Anybody can. It's a big ship. The TSA is putting more regulations out there for rail and logistics carriers. This is interesting because we all know that more regulations and more bureaucracy always make things better, right? That's how it works. With more bureaucracy and more regulations, things suddenly work better. Yeah. So this was developed with comprehensive input from industry stakeholders and federal partners. And basically, it's talking about better ways to secure railroads and trucking systems. The revised security directives enhancing rail cybersecurity and the revised SD series enhancing public transportation and passenger railroad cybersecurity include a requirement for covered owners and operators to test a minimum of 2 objectives in their cybersecurity incident response plan every year. So, I mean, this is more bureaucracy, but it seems like it's at least intelligently put forward, and it's good that there is a mandate from a government agency that has some heft and can actually get things done. Young people are more worried about cybersecurity. So this is in securitysystemnews.com. Interesting stuff as far as the next generation of people that's coming. So Genetech research shows cyber concerns growing among physical security pros. This was out of Montreal. Gathering insights from 5,500 physical security leaders around the world, Genetech's research shows that while organizations are putting in place new processes to protect themselves, the level of concern about cyber threats continues to increase. 31% of end user respondents indicated their organization was targeted by cyber threat actors. 73% of respondents in the intelligence and national security sector and 46% in banking finance were the ones that were notable. So cybersecurity vulnerabilities were identified by 36% of end user respondents as a top challenge. So you're looking at a new crop of people that's doing some of the work in the space, and they're still saying the same stuff that us old folks are saying. It doesn't really bode well for the overall market. AI deepfakes will affect elections. This came out from ENISA in Europe, and it's talking about the ways that you will see deepfakes showing up in spaces around elections. 2023 Threat Landscape Report of the European Union Agency for Cybersecurity, ENISA, highlights the need for vigilance ahead of the upcoming European elections. Sectors mostly targeted: public administration, health, however. So interesting stuff. Overview of evolving threats and actors. It talks about kind of the prime stuff. Definitely talks about ransomware in here, but really where you get into it is where they start talking about deep fakes and AI and malvertising. And the real trick of this is it's the speed, it's the spread, it's the fact that people click on stuff, and the fact that people are willing to fall for well put together deep fakes that can affect elections. The Philippines have been hit with a cyber attack. State secrets have been leaked. This is not good for those in the Philippines, but again, it's always the connected issues and the fact that there will be others that are tied to this as the fallout continues. And the Philippines geographically are in that Pacific region, so want to guess who might be involved here? Quick Trip, the the gas station provider, was hit with cyber attack, shuts down gas stations. Sort of local, but it is oil and gas critical infrastructure. Technically, yes. Is this good, bad, otherwise? It wasn't a national outage, but it's when you start seeing little pokes and prods at individual providers, things just get worse from there. There's an article in Forbes, 7 simple steps for better cybersecurity. Man, all this stuff sounds familiar. This is not rocket science, people. So here, let me just read these off because you've probably never heard this before. Use multi-factor authentication. Duh. Choose hard to guess passwords. Duh. And sensitive accounts using unsecured networks. Duh. Freeze your credit. If you're not freezing your credit or monitoring your credit right now, go do it. It's worth it. Trust me. I've repeatedly applied for stuff and found out that someone else had tried to apply in my name. So do this. Use credit cards with chips, not debit cards. Don't know if I totally agree with that one, but okay, it's better than nothing. Get creative with the answers to security questions. Don't use the same basic stuff, and then track your transactions. Think of that as like monitoring and logging you. It's worth it. Do you log into your bank or your credit card every day and just check that things make sense? It's worth it. NMFTA, I was just there this week, did a whole bunch of really good stuff talking to people about cyber. It's great to see these organizations that are not what you would consider typical legacy cyber doing cyber things. Medtech was hit with some cyber attacks, and this is affecting patient care. So this is very, very interesting. But it affected the company's manufacturing and distribution business. So yeah, Henry Schein has taken certain systems offline after a cybersecurity incident at a portion of its manufacturing and distribution businesses. The company did about $12 billion last year. Obviously, they didn't invest enough in cyber. Made other changes to contain the incident, causing temporary disruption. A distributor of medical and dental supplies were said its clients are unaffected by the actions. I always say, whenever I see somebody say nobody was affected, start the clock. Yeah. Didn't see any data impact. Forensics are ongoing, whatever else. But I mean, it's good that they reported this. But anytime somebody says that they didn't have an impact, start the clock, because sooner or later there will be an impact over there. Okta cybersecurity breach wipes out $2 billion in market cap in pretty much one day. Okta shares slumped on Monday, closing down 8% after the company disclosed that unidentified hacking group had accessed client files through a support system again. More than $2 billion in market cap has been wiped since the company acknowledged the hack last Friday. Okta makes identity management stuff, so this is not good for them. If you got Okta stock, not good for you. Matter of fact, when you look at the graphic here, it goes from $82 down to $69 pretty fast. So, oops. Okta has been a target before. Hacking group reportedly accessed numerous Okta systems in March. So not that long ago, the Lapsus group was tied to that particular one. So yeah. And again, how many times is this going to happen? And don't we have regulations that make this stuff where it's a bigger problem? I think Okta's got solid stuff. This can happen to anybody. Okta's a good security company, but there's got to be something going on when it happens repeatedly. Anything, yeah, can happen to anybody. No one is unhackable. Anyway, as always, this is Dr. Chase Cunningham, Dr. ZeroTrust, reporting for Cybersecurity HQ. Stay smart, stay safe, stay secure, and I'll catch you on the next one.